Success in life isn't what you know, it's how much you're prepared to rip in and have a go. I mean, knowing things is obviously important. Yeah. Like, you can't judge the size of someone's motor. And in life, that's everything.
The guy I went to school with had a tattoo on his arm. I remember it clear as day now, which is good, better, best, never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. And I think you just have to keep trying to get better.
When you lose that confidence, it's about finding what makes you tick again. It's about putting things into perspective and going back to the process.
If your business isn't going forward, it's going backwards because everyone around you is going forward. So if you're not, you're going backwards.
Yep. Talent's important, but discipline is more important, because your fallback position in life, if you've got the ability, has to always be disciplined. Yeah. Or else you end up just not quite getting to your potential, right?
Yeah. I've had heaps of good advice, Sam, but at the end of the day, dream big, possibilities are endless. And just believe in yourself.
Do or do not, there is no try, which means if you're going to do something in life, just do it, back yourself. Otherwise, don't do it at all. There's no trying if you're not 100% in.
All right, well, welcome to another edition of One Goat and the Property Guys, but I think we've got two goats, goat, and just a property guy sitting over here doing his very best.
Yeah.
Today we got Matt Wall.
The great Matt Wall.
The great, the one, the only, the man, the myth, Matt Wall. Mate, I know that you've got a background in media and stuff like that, mate, so this will be a walk in the park for you. And you could roll any catwalk in Milan, mate. You're a very stylish man.
Just got it all.
And for those who can see, Matt doesn't wear any socks.
At times.
Yeah, at times. You and I wear socks, Nath, because we're a lot older than Matt.
100%.
But actually, you're not, You're younger than Matt.
I think I'm Ian. I'm younger than you.
Doesn't
I'm 32. I'm 32.
Tough life. Tough life.
What year's your model? When were you born?
79.
79. You
71.
79. Settle down. It just baited me then.
Yeah. I'm 77. It was a good era.
Mate, you're in great nick, buddy.
Yeah.
What do you put on a 74 model? But, I've been, I had my engine conditioned.
Once or twice, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so, Matty, mate, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. And you sort of effectively run a business within our business. You are a cracking salesperson, do an amazing job, right up there with our top people. But you also run a bit of a unique business inside our business with your property management asset component towards it. And so you probably run a bit of a hybrid role within our business. There's the selling component of it, and then there's also the leadership component of it. And naturally, you're somebody that people go to in our business as well. People can confide in. You have a bit of a leadership status for yourself. If somebody said, talk to me about Matty Wall, I'd probably say he's a real hybrid between a salesperson and a leader, and I guess somebody that other people within our business, look up to and aspire to want to be like.
And I think add in property development as well. You've done quite a bit of that. So.
You're the actual legit triple threat. Sam.
The real deal.
Sam's out.
Gone.
Yeah.
Can I replace him as...
replace him?
No,
you're gone. You're no longer the triple threat.
You're being too kind, but yes. There's a few hats that I wear at times, Brooksy. Which is a real honour, and it comes with some opportunities and some challenges. So I am running a business within a business, and that's it's certainly opened me up to those challenges of running a company and being across managing people, managing budgets, being the jack of all trades and sometimes master of none. And so there's a lot there that you have to sort of manage day to day.
Yep.
So talk us through, you had a boutique business and now you've come across to join a larger business. How did you find that transition in?
Interesting. It was, I was just reflecting on it earlier. There was times there where I didn't know what I needed, and it wasn't until good old Tans had come through. And I'd met Tans through our kids going to kinder together.
Yep.
And he sort of mentioned he worked at Harcourts, and I knew of the brand, and I knew that it was fairly well respected. And I thought to myself, I'm running my own boutique agency. I think I know what I'm doing. I've got a rent roll. I'm making some sales. Life's pretty easy. And at that point, I'd gone through some challenges, which we can touch on
Yep.
from my previous industry knowledge and what I was doing prior to getting into real estate. But once I was at that juncture where I was like, okay, business is okay, but I'm not expanding to the breadth and depth that I'd like to at that point. And so that's when Tans was like, maybe you need to speak to some of the directors that I work for at Harcourts Property Centre at that point. And you guys, you and Sammy, had that chat, and I thought these guys are actually all right. And I've got a stigma with real estate agents, like many of us do, where we feel like there is a stigma that sometimes is negative, and sometimes you're pleasantly surprised by who they are as people. And I gravitated to you both at that point and got an understanding of what you were doing and where you were heading. You guys were running not only, but you were running a smaller business in Cooperoo and I think in Beenleigh. And that was all you owned at that point. And it was in a pretty, no offence, an average ex-bank vault.
You should see our office before that one, Morley.
Wasn't there.
It was pretty ordinary.
Bad.
Oh, God. Like, the office was wonderful within because of the people that we had, like when we first bought that business. And they're still some of our mortals today. The aesthetics around the office weren't very good, but there was a lot of love, mate, and a lot of ambition and a lot of will to want to drive and grow it. So, and you came on in those early days, mate. You're one of the original gangsters.
And there were some good times, let me tell you. And that was just, it opened my eyes to the fact that it wasn't I suppose until that time where I met you guys and I saw a different drive and desire for something larger, something more, like well beyond what I felt that I could provide to my smaller team in the timeframes that I've got, and probably the lack of expertise in some elements of running a business. As you can imagine, when you're running a rent roll and you've got a property management division, you've got a sales division, which was just me, but I had to wear all hats, and I was clearly a master of none, but I was trying to just manage that all as best I could. And I felt like my skill set is very much with people. I'm good with people. I can build rapport quickly. I know my skill sets and I know what I'm not good at. And it became pretty evident, a year or two into the journey of running what was Core Estate Agents as my boutique company in East Brisbane. That I wasn't sure where I was going to get there quick enough on my own versus joining a team that was bigger. And I didn't know any of that until I joined the team. And it was a big move for me. I had to bring my team in, rebrand myself, sort of start afresh. But what I learned and what I realised was I didn't realise that I didn't know a lot. And it became evident that just selling property is something that I was good at. But the whole background of running processes and systems and procedures that you guys already had in place that I was kind of lacking and ad hoc, had some procedures, not a lot. My property management was okay, could have been better. So there was a lot there that I really saw value in. So for whatever the cost was of doing business for and under which your business provided that solution, the value proposition for me was insanely larger. So for that, you don't realise until you're there, but it was a great move in hindsight, because what it did was it allowed me to now focus more on getting the structure right for my PM team, using that brand and some processes there for them to build, which has certainly been the case with some acquisitions and other bits and pieces. But ultimately for me, it was then seeing what other agents are doing and all of the other elements that you need to get right to become a bigger agent wasn't what I was doing. I was more just catch and kill and doing what I could with the relationships I had and not really having enough strategy behind that long-term growth. And since that, I reckon I've probably doubled my business every year from that point forward, after probably 6 months of going, what the hell have I done? And where am I heading with all this? So for mine, it was like, great, I've now got a brand, which I think the brand's great. It's growing and evolving, and it's been good to see that that's changed, because the perception back in the day probably wasn't as strong as some of the others, and I believe now it is. I think it's a really strong brand, not just Harcourts, but Property Centre, which I think is great. So that all provided a lot more insight into what I wasn't doing, and I feel like I'm not there yet. I'm not where I want to be, but equally to your point, I'm wearing different hats. I'm a dad and a husband. I've got multiple fingers in different pies.
Yeah.
So I'm probably never going to be the biggest agent, and I don't want to be. I'm 48.
And I love that about you.
Yeah.
Like that's the key, like one of the things I love about our business in general is that we just have a whole lot of different people that want to achieve different things in life, right?
Yeah.
And it's not your cookie cutter, right? Because I don't care how much business you write. I actually don't. I just care about you writing the business that you want to write.
Yeah.
So happiness of each individual for me is the number one priority, right?
Yeah.
And I think, sometimes real estate people in general can get too bogged down in what I've got to write and all of these things and lose the genuine fun of what this business is all about and taking yourself back to, excuse the pun, but the core of why you started doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
And I guess having fun along the way. I mean, you can't leave your heart at home when you go to work. You got to embrace that. I particularly love the way, like, you're extraordinarily entrepreneurial, right? Like you look at something in a different light than I do, right? I'm fairly simplistic on my view. It's just, and I am. I've self-admitted, right?
I agree.
And same with you too,
Yeah,
Nathan.
100%.
But you have the ability to look at things just differently. I admire that in you because you always look at something, where's the opportunity in that? And that's why you wear many hats, a salesperson, you're a business owner, you're a leader, you're an entrepreneur, you do some developments, you're always looking at, like, all of those things. I sometimes look at that and I go, I have to stay in my lane. Like, I don't know how you juggle all of those different things on top of being a husband and a dad and a friend.
Yeah.
How do you go about doing it? I mean, obviously you've got two beautiful kids and
Three, yeah.
Sorry,
Three,
I got that wrong. So
No,
we'll start
that's
that one
fine.
again.
They
We'll cut
grow
that out.
fast.
Hang on, stop. So obviously you've got three beautiful kids.
Yep.
Mate, talk me through that.
Just juggling life. It's not easy. We all do it.
Yeah.
And at times I struggle, to be honest. And I think that's when you've got the team around you to support you, the friends, you guys as mentors, all of that is important to get, to where you want to be.
Yeah.
So none of us have got it perfect and got it down pat, obviously. And there's things that I still struggle with. Like, there's a lot more that I'd love to be doing in the development space.
Yep.
Time is my challenge.
Yep.
I keep saying that to my wife. It's where to best focus your time to get the best outcome. And sometimes I've done renovations. I've done so much that may or may not have been a waste of time / lifestyle decision that's not financial, to create something for the kids, all that stuff.
Yeah. There's credibility in that, Wally.
Yeah.
Like, I love the fact that you can sit in front of any person that's going to do a reno, that's going to do a development with absolute credibility because you've been there, done it before, right? Which ultimately gives confidence to A, the person who's selling it, and B, the person that's buying it. I think that's really critical, and that probably fundamentally structures who you are as an operator, as you come from a base foundation of I've been there and I've done it.
Yep.
So that advice to people is really valuable, right?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah. Well, I know it is.
It's not something that I've externally branded and focused on, which I probably should have. Once again, could be a way to realign my point of difference as an agent now, because you guys know my history. But at one point, post being in the media industry, I worked at Channel 9 and Channel 10 for a number of years as a marketing manager, one of the sales directors there. Was working my way up to be Victorian state manager. All these aspirations to be leadership in that role. But I also saw the world falling apart in regard to TV revenues versus online, and that was becoming a big thing at that point in time.
Yeah.
Saw the writing on the wall, realised it was going to be a challenge, and it was, and I got out at a pretty good time.
Yeah.
It was at that point that I was then starting to look at funding my brother-in-law, who was doing some flips and splitters and started in mining regions. We did quite well there until we didn't. Mining kind of fell off, and I'm taking this on a bit of a different tangent here. But
that's all right.
Yeah, run with me here.
Yeah.
So we made some really good money, and we just thought we knew everything, and we were just very sophisticated, switched on developers over a course of a number of years. We saw mining explode in WA. We just figured that was going to be the case in Queensland, which it was for a while.
Yep.
And then in 2010 odd, I think the mining boom had sort of semi-busted in a way, and we were exposed quite heavily with some developments.
Yep.
And we couldn't sell them after, at one point, we thought we were about, on paper, made 2.8 million in 6 months just with a DA and smashed up 8 units, and then all those contracts crashed in a row. Mining boom came off, oil prices, Moranbah, all these sort of areas that I don't like thinking about again. But that hurt. And so we kind of had to re-engineer ourselves, both myself and my brother-in-law, running this smaller company of development, or a development company, to then pair it back to what is safe and what do we want to buy in on long term. And that became, let's get back into Brisbane and surrounds. Even though the market still wasn't going that well, it was linear and fairly steady versus mining being up and down.
Far less volatile, right?
Correct. And that hurt. So that created some challenges in that, because we had to get through a point where we almost went bankrupt, and we had to get through and over that. And we quickly, talking to your point earlier on trying to be an entrepreneur, we had to sort of pivot quickly.
Yes.
And we went to a point where we go, what do we think is going to work well in Brisbane that hasn't been like pushed heavily at this point in time? And that was LMR sites that had the potential for a lift and raise of a Queenslander at the front and build 2 or 3 townies in the back.
Okay.
For whatever reason, we fell into that opportunity and we pushed that strategy fairly heavily with investors. Built out a whole new business, got building involved with that business. I became a buyer's agent sourcing those sites in Brisbane. So it gave me a different perspective on familiarising myself with that landscape, the zoning requirements, working with town planners, understanding the quantity surveys and the build costs that we would estimate it to cost. We'd then project manage it for the client. So we'd have all of this that evolved very quickly. So talk about pivoting quickly. Like in 2 years, we ended up having between 30 and 50 different developments on the go. With multiple JV partners. So we weren't the funders of them all, but we were multitasking and managing all of that. We built a team to do that as well with my brother-in-law and I, who's a very clever guy. And I give him a lot of credit for what we were able to do quickly. So that then pivoted us to a point where he and I were like, he's loving building that side of the business. I was loving the buyer's advocacy at that point, but also building up referral program where we were giving off referrals to local agents to either rent the properties that our clients were holding, or some of them were ours, or selling them. And I'm like, why am I giving all this revenue away? This is ridiculous, because there's good money in all this. And it was at that point that I decided that we should create our own business with a rent roll, which was Core Estate Agents. We created that off the back of referring our own business. And then that evolved to sales. And all of a sudden, my brother-in-law decided that he wanted to evolve the building side, and that we weren't interested in doing this forever, making all of our clients heaps of money when margin was still pretty skinny for us. So that's how it evolved. That's how Core started. I then decided to go off and run that as the MD and principal, and he kept becoming a successful builder. Builder developer.
So Wally, you mentioned media, your time in media. What did you learn from working in the media industry that you use today in how you market properties and yourself and your business and stuff like that? What advice would you give on that?
Plenty. As I said, the brand is important. Like I had a lot of quality brands that I was representing, being 9 and Channel 10, 2 of the biggest at TV. But it was also, I realised that it's all about people, relationships, and just understanding that the people that you're working with who are becoming your clients, they need to trust and understand where you're coming from. So it's one thing to have a product to sell, but it's that building of rapport and relationship that I felt like that was my lane. I was good at that. And there's a whole bunch of stuff behind marketing that's similar to what we do in day-to-day life as agents. We're marketing ourselves. Like you guys are providing the brand, you guys are providing all of this valuable back-end systems and support, and you brand yourselves very well. But we also have to brand ourselves as agents underneath that brand. And am I doing it perfectly? Absolutely not. I'm still evolving that. As I said, it's great having a bigger team around me, because I can see the Pat Ivies of the world and the Ben Carrolls and the Carmen Briggses and all these bigger agents going, you guys are doing something very well. And if I can just take little bits from all of you in my limited time frame, I'll still be the best version of myself in a smaller version of what they're doing, because they are in their lanes and they're doing a great job.
I mean, look, I'll go on a ledge and say that all of those guys are good, but they're not doing better things than what you are. The difference is you're focused on doing what you got to do for your client, because client to client, like they'll get a similar experience to what your clients will.
Yep.
And vice versa. So
Yep.
from that aspect, anyone that sells to any of those guys isn't going to be let down by having you as their agent.
No,
It's
I
just there's
wouldn't
a
hope so,
difference.
no.
Like, well, no, they won't, because you're very good at what you do, right?
Yeah.
The difference is, as I said, there's going to be some people that are just hungry that want to ride all of this. But it's the thing I love about our business is everyone's different, right?
Yeah.
And where, I hear you talk about developments and things like that. Like, if I was a seller of a development site, like, how much confidence would I have
Heaps.
in going to Wally and saying, mate, what can't I do here? What's a maximum bet? What's the best use for this piece of land? You're going to know all of that stuff. And from my opinion, that is really, really valuable. And mate, less than 5% of real estate agents are going to have anywhere near the knowledge that you've got around those things. So any seller that's looking to do that, man, that's a whole lot of, that's years of experience that they get the benefit of, right? Mate, I love that. I love that.
But I also found working with you recently how diligent you are in the process. Leading up to launching the property, you were constantly, have we done this? Have we done that? All the time. So I find you very, very, very diligent in making sure the marketing's right, the whole process is right. So talk me through the bigger prestige ones. You've got some really big quality listings at the moment.
Yeah, they're everywhere too, which is good.
100%.
So I don't particularly seem to own an area. So I'm a bit different in that way, because obviously with rentals and other avenues and different relationships with different developers who build in different areas, means that I think that me and my team, and I'll bring up my team as well, we're pretty diverse in our area knowledge, and we're also very focused on the systems and processes that we believe we do well to get the result for our vendors, but also, create a decent experience for the buyers, because 99 out of the times out of 100, the buyers you deal with aren't going to be the buyers, only one for each one, but we want that experience to be something that they can go, wow, that was a good experience. We didn't get the property because it was hotly contested, but the way they communicated, their diligence and their response times, their professionalism, and I can put a lot of that down to my business partner in Nico. And there's another reason why I was glad that I joined the Harcourts team, because at no point was I even at that level of going, how many people do I need under me to work with me? And then all of a sudden it became apparent that somebody with a different set of skills to me can complement what I do. And he does that very well. And so I'm very fortunate to have Nico Berry in my team with me, not under me, but with us together. We form a pretty formidable, offering to market.
Agreed. And then sometimes, there's not a lot of room in business for ego, right?
No, not in this caper. You get shot down very quickly.
So just dropping the ego to go, all right, what's going to get the best out of me? And in order for the best to be, coming out of me, the beneficiary of that's going to be my clients and the people that I work with. And often it's just about letting the ego go and say, hey, in this arena, I'm not 100% here. I probably can't, offer the value to somebody that maybe somebody else can. And it's just collaborating with them. And we've got some great teams in our business, right? And all at some point in time have had to go, hey, listen, I got shortcomings in this area. And be big enough to accept that that's the case, and get the support that you require, right? So I would always admire people that put themselves in that position to go, hey, I'm not perfect at everything. I think I'm pretty good at these things, and if I can find somebody else to run beside, that's 100%. Good in these areas, 100%. Then you make the complete person, and the beneficiary of that's the client, right?
And I would have never thought that was the case when I was 28. I probably thought I was the best. I've never been arrogant. I'm just saying, I didn't realise what my shortcomings were until my wife. You
got married.
She's always
until you have kids.
No, I'm never admitting that.
Should never do that.
Never met rejection until you have children, right?
My kids are first to tell me what my shortfalls are, but equally, it takes a level of maturity that not everyone has.
Sure.
Until you get to, it's not just an age thing. You can have it earlier, but for me, it's taken a while to go right. I've got ADHD. I use it as a superpower, but there's times where I do get distracted or I enjoy talking to people when I've got stuff to be done, and I'll need that reaffirmation. The focus point needs to be pulled back fairly quickly, and someone like Nico can do that well with me.
Cool.
He doesn't have it, and he's very much systems and process driven, which is great.
Yep.
Great with people, a lot of skill set that complements who I am and what I provide.
Yep.
So that's important to know that I don't love admin. I can do it. I've run businesses, but it's not my skill set.
Okay.
And so I know that. And so once again, the value of Harcourts was like, well, we can provide the marketing back end support, the contract management. I was running my own trust account. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we were doing. That doesn't mean that's in your lane, and it's probably taking me away from what I'm good at. So now I can just be what I think is a good sales agent, do what I do, do it well. I love people. I love getting around people. So that for me, it's just playing in, your forte. And that's what I think has been provided by you, but equally I made that call to come over.
Yeah.
No, I love that, mate.
Now, you mentioned that ADHD, and we were talking before we started the podcast about some personal things that happened last year in your life, and you're happy to talk about it now.
Yeah.
Obviously, us three are losing our hair naturally, but obviously you had a
Health issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you deal with that? And talk us through it.
Yeah, look, it wasn't easy. My male modelling career never started and won't ever start, unfortunately. But when was it? It was probably 6 or 7 years ago. My first stint of having a little patch of hair disappeared on my head, and wondered what that was. Didn't really know a lot about it, and then grew back. And then probably a year later, the patch came back, and then multiple others came back pretty aggressively. And all of a sudden, in 6 months, I went from full head of hair to bald everywhere, pretty much. They call it alopecia universalis at that point. Alopecia areata is a localized sort of head and rough area around your noggin. So I've had that and battling that sort of the last 5 or 6 years. So I've had to rock what I've got. Some people don't know whether I've got cancer or not. They don't always ask the question because I look a little bit, washed out and whatever else. And so it does make you a little bit more conscious in an environment of sales where there's a bit of theatre and a bit of, looks and all the competition that's out there. So, you've got to just stay true to yourself and know that those that love me, and those that may judge, I don't particularly care. That's just something that I've had to be confronted with and just work through the health challenges that come with it. It doesn't affect me greatly beyond follically challenged.
Yeah.
But
mate, your hair doesn't define you, Wally.
No. That I'm sure of.
Me,
yeah.
Doesn't define Nath. Well,
It doesn't
out
define
of you, myself, Sammy, and Nath, he's going the best.
Going all right.
And he's been
holding on to it. I'm holding on to it.
He has been using these drops.
Has he been using the drops?
He's been using
Is there
these
something you
drops.
can give me?
Someone gave me some drops and they said, try this.
Right. What is it? Garlic?
I don't know what
He's
it
been
is.
using them.
Okay, well, get me onto it. I might need your help.
No. I don't think you look perfectly fine the way you are, buddy.
Thank you, mate.
I actually think you look really good. I mean, I know you put a lot of effort into your health and well-being, and that's around your gut health and your diet and your exercise. And obviously you've made a little bit of a sea change there as well to try and work on some of those things that are important.
Yep, done that. And look, that's why it's frustrating. It's one of those things where you think you've done what you hope should be what's needed to get whatever is wrong back. And who knows whether it is stress or whether it's something else, within the gut. But whatever it is what I'm confronted with at the minute. So we're working our way through that. But it's something that I just had to embrace. And move forward.
But I think, as Aaron said before, it's a credit to you. You've had these issues, and your business keeps doubling year on year. So
keep turning up.
100%. So it's a real credit, mate. Well done.
One thing I do is just keep rocking up, mate. You know that. Like despite all the challenges, and I've had plenty of them. I'll keep going until there's no more.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Somebody said to me years ago, there's many convenient car spaces to pull over on your road to success, right?
Good one.
And it's true though, isn't it? Because obviously when we feel like we're running out of petrol and we know the destination, but it's hard. And, and it is sometimes super easy for us to go, all right, well, here's a convenient place to pull over. I don't say that by, not having a rest, because you've got to have a rest. But your disciplines will get you places that your motivation couldn't, right? So it's about just going back to your things that you know you got to do every day to get yourself right,
Yep.
to get yourself in that position to be the best version of you, as you said earlier.
Yeah.
And that's critical, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather be
100%.
the best version of me, right? Or, probably even half the best version of me than be a great imitation of somebody else. You got to be polarising to the extent where, there's no grey area, is there, for me? Like, there is no grey area. You either like me or you don't.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Not many don't like you, Brooksy.
Oh,
let's
well,
be honest.
there are people, believe me, there's people that dislike me that have never met me, right? But that goes to all of
But
us
that's
in life,
everyone.
doesn't it?
That's
That's
everyone in
everyone.
life.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're
I
just
think
gonna
that's
have
a
people
challenge
that just-
itself, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But I mean, at the end of the day, good human beings give people the opportunity to make their own assessment, right?
And if you're always true to yourself,
Yeah,
always be true to yourself.
Yeah.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
that's,
So what's next for Wally?
Good question. I'll hopefully double again
Yep.
from a work perspective.
Yeah.
Managing a team well, being
Yeah.
a good leader. As I
Yep.
said, learning from you guys and what you're doing well, because clearly mimicking some of that's got to wash off in a positive way.
Yep.
I'm trying to get work-life balance, mate, to be honest.
Yeah,
I've
good.
struggled a bit, but,
Yep.
I think we're at a stage in life stage where my kids aren't getting any younger. Very quickly, they're getting older. I've got an 18-year-old who's driving now, for God's sake. 16-year-old who's a maniac and will be driving next year, which is scary. And then an 11-year-old son who's just busy and, always want to stay active.
Being
and-
11.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Being 11.
Yeah, being 11, exactly. So exciting. Like we've had a bit of a lifestyle change.
Yep.
Living up in the sunny coast,
Yep.
still working in Brisbane. So
Yep.
for me, time is just so scarce because I like to be in and around the team in Brisbane.
Yep. Yep.
And I do most of my work in Brisbane, but I've equally got the ability to straddle, opportunities in sunny coast. Back to
Yes.
your original
Yep.
point,
Yep.
Nath. Got some crackers up there in Minyama and
Yep.
about to get another one in, sort of broader sunny coast area. And I can easily expand that offering up there and sort of be across both environments because I know them both well. I've lived in Brisbane forever and a day.
Yep.
I'm living in the sunny coast. I used to live in Noosa.
Yep.
I love the lifestyle and the beach access and all the things that are great for kids.
Yep.
But equally, I'm still managing how I do work-life balance well with all of that.
Yep.
I
Yep.
bought a car just so I could cruise up and down the freeway. Geez, I'm racking up the Ks. It's hilarious. But that's what you got to do.
Pain, buddy.
Yeah.
But look, like anything, because we've got such an amazing culture in all of our businesses. But, when you're driving on a destination and you know that the destination is warm, friendly, supportive, it just gives you a bit extra motivation to be there and to be in the moment. I love that.
And I'm up to 5-year club with you guys. It's gone fast.
Yoni.
I don't know what that looks
Mate,
like.
it feels like you've been around for a lot longer
I know.
than that.
I know.
Wow.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
No, mate, that's just a reflection of you, mate. We all know people in life that we've known for 10 years that we really don't know all that well. And there's also people that that, maybe for 5 years and, really well. And I think that's just comes down to how willing they are to let you in and vice versa. So,
I'm an open book, unfortunately.
no. Love that.
Wally, do you have any funny real estate stories you'd like to share?
Oh, there's plenty that I could throw at you. None of which are appropriate now.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go there, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking to myself, there's a lot that I've stumbled into, especially with a PM property management hat on, as you can appreciate. That's some interesting stuff that you can walk into, or the way people live,
Wow.
what you see there, what's left out,
Yep.
toys and money and drugs and other things. You've seen all that. It's just.
I just love your commitment to get to appointments, no matter how you get there.
What do you mean by that?
He's leading somewhere.
I don't know where
Did you have a car that was, we'll say, broken down, and you still committed to getting to the appointment on time?
Do you want me to tell that quick story before we finish up?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
So it started with the broken down car, and then you had to get to the appointment.
Okay, so my car was in the shop, and my wife had taken the other car with the keys in it from the access point of this very nice property. So I couldn't actually get into the property, which was my first issue. So I'm confronted with the fact that I didn't have keys, but I knew the owner was there opening it up shortly before a showing. This is an embarrassing story, but we're going to get through. So I had to time it so that I was there whilst the owner was opening up, because he loves to open up his house first. But I had no way of getting there. And it was 10 minutes away from my home. So the only solution I had in this short space of time, knowing that my wife accidentally didn't realise I had the appointment, took the only car we had because the other one's in the shop, was to get on an e-bike and get there. So I had to take the e-bike. It was 10 minutes away, hammering through in a suit and tie, or not tie, but embarrassing as this is. I rock up, see that the owner's there, had to sort of park it around the side on the street so he didn't see that his agent representing his house is in an e-bike, which is embarrassing enough. Parked it there, walked around, and it was absolutely good time. He didn't see me, walked in. I thought, how good's this? He eventually leaves. We show the property, great showing. An hour later, I'm out. After closing down the house, I walk outside and I'm like, where the hell's my e-bike? It was stolen whilst I was there by a guy that we randomly realised through a neighbour. We saw that he had a camera. We walked back into the guy's house who let me in. He's like, oh, you're the agent next door? Come on in. Had a look, and we go through the camera, and it's like we see a guy pull up in a Toyota Cruiser, Land Cruiser, walks around and then basically pulls the bike around to the back of his car. It's a big, heavy Derody bike, and threw it into his back of his car and drove off. So
And then he returned it to the police station because he's probably worked out that those things are GPS tracked.
Well, I did have a tracker on it, firstly. The cop said that he's being a good Samaritan. I didn't believe it. I mean, who's going to make an effort to do that?
Oh, nonsense.
So that's what happened. And I was like, anyway, it was a great way to meet neighbours.
And the point is, you were committed to getting to the appointment.
Yeah, no matter what.
Nothing's going to stop
Even
you.
on an e-bike.
You could have gone on a skateboard.
I'm not
Could
that
you imagine?
skillful. I'm not that skillful.
Aerodynamics.
Hey, we don't reference the hair.
Anyway, Wally, mate, the final question that we always ask: what's your most goat-worthy advice that you would offer a person in real estate?
Oh, geez, I think this has been used, but I feel like we've touched on it already a number of times. But being yourself and being true to who you are is key. And I know it sounds cliche, but I feel like that's the way I've lived my life all the way through, and it's got me this far.
Yep.
And I think that you can never be wrong and never go wrong if you're actually being true to yourself, and that's something that. Morals and ethics is something that I've run with my whole life, and I feel like that just stays the path.
Yep.
So that's what I advise anyone looking for that sort of way forward. Is if you're never transitioning away from who you are, you can never go wrong.
Yep. Love it.
Mate, awesome.
Beautiful.
Awesome advice. Mate, congratulations.
Well done, mate.
Thank you, boys, for the
Appreciate
time.
you
Thank
coming
you for the
on, mate.
opportunity.
Absolute pleasure.
Been great.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of One Goat and the Property Guys. Remember, make sure you vote for if they were a goat or a spud during the last episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe to YouTube and at Apple Podcasts so that we can keep creating great goat-worthy memories.